What is engineering education? A new faculty's story.
Hi, my name is Jane. I just graduated with my PhD in civil engineering. I am an expert in structural health monitoring. I just accepted a tenure-track position at a university where I will be expected to conduct research, teach courses, and mentor students. I want to be a good educator, but the only thing I really know about teaching is what was modeled for me when I was in school. All I have ever seen modeled is traditional chalk and talk lectures, but I know that lecturing is not the most effective teaching method. I wonder if there is anything on the internet that would help me with how to better educate my engineering students. This looks like a helpful video.
Hello. Are you a new engineering faculty who is trying to figure out all the ins and outs of being a great educator? This video was created to help introduce you to the field of engineering education and to suggest how you can use it to the benefit of you and your students. I will address 4 big ideas that will help as you take on the role of engineering educator. Identify your goal, know your students, choose your pedagogical methods, and use your resources. Our first suggestion is for you to identify your own overarching goal for engineering education. What is it that you hope to accomplish with, and in your students? In our opinion, this should be preparing them for professional practice. While at first glance, you may think that this goal speaks only to the technical knowledge required, but preparing students for professional practice involves much more. Today's engineer needs technical and social knowledge to negotiate solutions to ill-defined problems with multiple stakeholders, often in a fast-paced and global environment. They need analytical skills, practical ingenuity, creativity, communication skills, business and management know-how, high ethical standards, professionalism, agility, resilience, and flexibility. This is an ambitious and daunting list of knowledge, skills, and attitudes to develop in 4 years. But by identifying an overarching goal, you can better coordinate a developmental plan for your students across multiple classes, so that they are appropriately prepared for their professional careers. After identifying your main goal for engineering education, you will need to customize your message and delivery based on your students. Therefore, we suggest you get to know your students as individuals and as a class. This practice can lead to an increase in students' learning, engagement, and sense of belonging. Students' backgrounds have an effect on their learning. Likely they will differ in gender, race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, preparation, interests, attitudes, and aspirations. Your students are not blank slates. They come with already built mental frameworks to help them approach new ideas which are framed by their prior experience and knowledge. Enhance your students' learning by getting to know them and addressing their interests, deficiencies, and misconceptions. Refining how you present the material and referencing what you know about your students will help the class feel more personal and the course material more accessible for them. After you get to know your students and their needs, you will need to choose what pedagogical methods on which to base your instruction. The traditional approach to engineering education primarily involves chalk and talk lectures and a curriculum heavily focused on theory and engineering sciences. However, research shows that student learning is suboptimal with these methods, and students graduate ill-prepared for the challenges they will face as engineering professionals. If the ultimate goal of engineering education is to prepare students for professional practice, then innovative and research-based pedagogical techniques should be employed. For example, active learning and student-centered activities should largely replace lecturing and instructor-centered techniques. Students will be more engaged and learn more. Student-centered pedagogy also enhances the diversity of engineering by increasing retention, especially for minority students. As described previously, engineering practice requires more than just technical knowledge. Therefore, engineering education should be about acquiring diverse, interdisciplinary knowledge, developing skills of practice, and instilling the values of the engineering profession. Rather than design, ethics, laboratory, and humanities classes being isolated, disconnected courses. These classes that enhance professional skills and identity should be incorporated into all engineering science classes. They should form a professional spine that knits together the entire engineering curriculum into a cohesive, networked whole that devotes appropriate effort to the epistemological as well as the ontological development of students as they prepare for professional practice. You might feel overwhelmed and lost, but our fourth and final suggestion should help with that. Typically, there are numerous resources available to help you, both on and off campus. On campus, you have hopefully been assigned a faculty mentor. If not, reach out to someone who has shown interest in your success. Next, find and use your campus's Center for Teaching Excellence, if you're fortunate enough to have one. You should also join or form a community of practice with other faculty, so you can support each other, and benefit from each other's experiences. Off campus, a great place to start is ASCE, that is, the American Society for Engineering Education. ASCE also publishes the Journal of Engineering Education and Prism magazine. Links to these and other resources and communities are posted in the description below. Take some time and explore them. They contain a wealth of valuable information. Whether you choose to apply engineering education practices or immerse yourself into the field of engineering education, give yourself time to grow as an educator. Even with the best support from others, it can take 3 to 5 years for you to feel like you are on the right track and know what you are doing. We encourage you to continue to explore what engineering education is, the current research being done in the field, and how it can benefit you and your students.
What a great video! Just what I needed to understand engineering education. Engineering education seems like a broad and overwhelming field, but the 4 points discussed in the video seem like a great place to get started. Over the next several of years I was able to put the video suggestions into action, utilizing research-based engineering education resources and then incorporating engineering education into my own personal research has both benefited me as an educator and researcher. I am helping both my field of engineering and engineering education grow and help produce the engineers of the future. What can engineering education do for you and your students? I encourage you to find out.